We have barely unlocked 1% of the ways to play with LEGO minifigures. In this video, we're going to explore a bigger world for minifigures, starting from the very first ones. Released in 1976, this was where minifigures began, but unlike the ones we see today, it had no faceplates, no arms, and no movable legs. You simply built it like regular bricks. Nowadays, we have well-printed minifigures with accessories, but are they perfect? Venom eats people all the time, but the minifigure can't bite. I have a quick fix using only a racing helmet and white tags. Venom's eyes look like regular white shapes, so I just stick the tags onto the visor. It works better if the visor is tinted. Then rotate the head 180 degrees so it shows only black and put the helmet on. Now you've got a Venom minifigure that can actually bite. Next, we have Rex from Toy Story. I think he's really cute, especially with his short little arms and their soft texture, but today we're dealing with his legs. Since they are connected with Technic pins, it's easy to swap them with parts from the other sets. For example, I'm using this T-Rex skeleton trying to attach its legs to Rex. The skeleton's legs are huge compared to his size, and they have posable joints that let him move freely. Because of the Technic pins, replacing his legs is easy, and Rex walks even more hilariously with them. Hi there! And with these long legs, he doesn't even need to turn around to look back. Then he spotted Woody, the older version of the minifigure that uses a custom head and has a slightly creepy grin. But it does look better, and it comes with longer legs. Standard legs cover 2 studs, but Woody's cover 3. These long legs are pretty rare in new minifigures, and the only one I have is Dr. Eggman. For the skeletons, they also share the same leg length, with the only exception being the Wither skeleton from the Minecraft sets, which also has long legs. There's a group of minifigures that are closely related to skeletons, and that's the Hero Factory series. If you take off the armor, you'll see they use the same torso piece as the skeletons. On the back of the armor, I noticed there is a bar which is useful when attaching the piece to the minifigure along with the blaster. I assembled stud shooter and connected it to the armor. Then I replaced the minifigure's head with it. This way, I've turned Inferno into a powerful weapon and fires heavy shots. Let's test it out. LEGO Friends minifigures aren't widely accepted mainly because their legs can't be separated. So let's make full use of them and keep the Friends characters together. Once completed, they can even play a role in the movie Human Centipede. On the other hand, popular minifigures could use some updates too. For the Mickey minifigure, you could use a black sausage piece to create his arm. Slim arms with big gloves and shoes make this minifigure closer to his cartoon look. Besides the regular sized minifigures, there are also larger figures like brickheads. The biggest ones use ball joint connectors so you can pose it freely. However, with ball joint connectors, you can also build some less family-friendly figures. You'll need this piece, it's usually used with sign parts, plus 2 ball joint connectors. First, place the connectors on top of the 1x1 plates, then attach the bar arm piece to the upper body, and now you've created a classic sculpture. You've basically become the Michelangelo of LEGO City. No one knows the best LEGO toy, but I know one of the worst is Galidor. The strangest part is it's the arm, which stays in this bend position all the time. You can't even take the arms off, so I decided to make use of the head. To be honest, the head looks so weird, but since it's compatible with the Technic parts, we can attach it to regular bricks. This is what happens in my nightmares. But it's not over yet. I borrowed the dog head and put it on the Galidor body, which actually makes it kind of cute. You can swap in pretty much any head you want. For non-human characters like the Minions, LEGO had to create special body parts for them. When I noticed that R2-D2 has the same connection, I tried swapping their body parts and the Minions suddenly had cyborg arms. This is Dio, another droid from Star Wars, and you can decorate this tiny figure with a Santa hat. After putting the Minion's head on R2's body, you also find a perfect spot to place Dio's stud. Among all the minifigures, there was a series called Technic Racing Figures. They're incredibly tall, making a standard minifigure look like a child. If you measure them with bricks, a regular figure is only about 4.5, while this one is over 9. What makes this figure special is that every joint is posable. The elbows, the shoulders, legs, and even the ankles. It gives you possibilities that regular minifigures just can't do. When you take off his helmet, you'll see he actually has a nose on his face, and even rarer is that he has ear holes. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be for, but I found these pieces that fit right into the holes, which makes him look like Shrek, which is strangely amusing. Since he's a racing driver, let's find a car for him. But I don't have one that matches his scale, so he'll have to squeeze in. Now it looks like he's driving a cart in a pretty awkward position. And because of the compatibility, his hands are too big to hold any regular items. He can't even eat a banana. After trying everything, I finally found a solution. He can grab a Technic axle. It fits his hand perfectly since he originally came from the Technic sets. With that, we can stack some spare gears to the axle and make a weapon for him. Now he has his own lance. This is Zlob, a figure from the Dream set with a single piece, but I found a way to play with it inspired by my Voldemort build. I took the Avada Kedavra blast piece and attached it to Zlob, making it shoot out green energy. But then I found an even smaller green piece that can attach directly to the figure. I made a special helmet for Bob with a long head, and the two figures fit together surprisingly well. If you look at minifigures today, they don't have noses or ears, but the accessories are really cool though, like this Spider-Punk's mohawk, which fits onto the head so smoothly. The only figures with noses are the ones that use specially designed heads, and those usually come from different IPs. Some older LEGO figures do have noses and ears, but you can't really change their heads since most of them are fixed to the body with unnatural emotions. Can you recognize these characters just by their faces? Look closely at the tiny lightning scar and you'll know they're Ron, Harry, and Hermione. Modern minifigures have much clearer expressions, and Harry's hair even leaves space for his scar. They also have magic wands that actually fit their size, but back then they only had longer bars, which made them look more like Bruce Lee students than wizards. Since Harry grows up through the movie series, there are minifigures with different leg lengths for him. He starts with the fixed shortest legs, which don't have stud holes. Later there are opposable leg pieces with one hole on each other. By the way, the Firebolt build is really clever, because its pedals are actually a pair of handcuffs, limited materials from Azkaban. Then there is Harry as a standard minifigure, and the Sword of Gryffindor is really nice. The Dementor is also a very unique minifigure. It has a hood piece and a cape with torn holes. Since it's a wraith-like shapeless creature, LEGO gives it a ghost-style lower body. There's another guy with lots of capes, and that's Batman. This Clan of the Cave Batman looks great to me because it has printed arms and lower body, which many classic ones don't. But they have the same problem. What's going on when they remove the mask? Anyway, we have a bigger problem. What do we do with this figure? Yes, I am LEGO. The issue is that this Batman can only rotate his head and lower body while the hands are stuck in a fixed pose. I had no idea what that pose was supposed to mean until I found another figure, Mr. Freeze. There's a gap between his helmet and his neck, and it fits perfectly with Batman's outstretched hand. Now this looks like the perfect scene of Batman interrogating Mr. Freeze. Tell me, where is Robin? Among the Batman-related minifigures, this one is a hidden gem, the Eraser. You may not know him because he's just a minor villain, but he's really well designed. Besides the orange printed suit, his head can be used to build a LEGO pencil that has the same scale as a real one. Just add a cone piece and a gray bar with a stop ring, and you can take this into your final exam. Besides cylindrical heads, there are also ball heads. I'm talking about the basketballs that LEGO NBA player minifigures can pick up and shoot. To wrap up this video, I want to share a unique torso piece, this one right here. It has up to 6 connection points, which is pretty awesome for a single LEGO part. You can even use it to build a tiny but complete minifigure, adding a printed tile on its chest.